This is pretty big. Pokemon wins and waves. Pokemon wins and waves. I'm gonna take a sip of water because I'm gonna have to, I'm gonna say a lot here. Ooh. Pokemon wins and waves. So, this was big news, as you guys know. It's the announcement of Generation 10. The announcement of Generation 10. It was announced to us at the end of the Pokemon Presents on Pokemon Day, and there was a trailer, this and that, and the game looked great. Like, first impressions, like seeing gameplay was cool, and the game looks cool. Ooh, excuse me. But then at the end of the trailer, when they announced the release date, that's when everyone was like, "What?" So yes, like Winds and Waves, the release date is 2027. We don't know if that's early 2027. We don't know if that's mid 2027. We don't know if that's late 2027. They just said 2027. And a lot of people were upset at this because a lot of people anticipated that we would get the 10th generation games like this year, like end of this year, because it's 30th year anniversary. I'll be honest, me personally, like when this got announced, like 2027, I wasn't upset. I actually was like, oh, okay. In my head, I was thinking like, oh, they want more time to perfect their games, which I'm all for. Like, I never think a game should be rushed. I think a game should be developed thoroughly and with intention, and never like released like prematurely. With Scarlet and Violet, I think that was a big thing. Like Scarlet and Violet, where it was released, and there were so many bugs and glitches, and the game just didn't run well. And so I don't want that for Winds and Waves, especially since this is going to be the first like mainline title for the Switch 2. I definitely don't want that. So I wasn't upset at first, but recently there have been rumors that has kind of gone viral like within the community, and those rumors are that there will not be any like Winds and Waves news or updates throughout this entire 2026 year. So that's what's going around, is that there's going to be no news, no trailers, no teasers, like nothing for 2026. And so like that rumor is kind of growing and growing, and now it's it's kind of like people are basically assuming it's true. And so like when I heard that, I kind of was upset. I got upset. I was like, what? And for me, it's not like I want Pokemon to like do a Sun and Moon thing where they like have a trailer every week, every 2 weeks, like. But to not have anything also is like, what the heck, and for me, it's just, again, how Pokemon is like handling their 30th anniversary. For me, it's like, okay, if the 10th generation games are not coming out this year, that's cool, but at the same time, like, this is the 30th year anniversary, and these are games that are gonna be on a new console. This is a new generation game. It's a big milestone generation. It's the 10th, it's double digits. It's the 10th, it's like a huge like milestone generation. Like, why not like kind of use this year? If the game's not coming out this year, like, why not use this year as like a celebration, as like a tribute, or I can't think of the word, but like, why not use this year as like a whole like celebration to like celebrate and promote and kind of like, you know, push for wins and waves, like, again, they don't have to like, do what they did for Sun and Moon and like release like, a trailer every 2 weeks, but like at least a couple, like to kind of just get ourselves excited for these games. And I don't know, like to me, like when I heard that, I was just like, so they're basically doing what they did for Legends ZA, which I thought was terrible. Like Legends ZA, they announced on Pokemon Day back in 2024, and we didn't hear anything for the entire year until Pokemon Day in 2025. And to me, like that's just such a like to me that's just like poor marketing, poor like promotion, like tactics. Like to me, it's just like, why announce a game and then just be like radio silent for like a whole year? It's like, do you not like want us to be excited for your games? Because like when you do that, when you just like announce a game and then don't talk about it for a whole year, like the interest is gonna like go away, like and I feel like for Legends ZA, that was the whole thing. Like when it was announced in 2024 and then there was no news until 2025, I think a lot of people just kind of were like, oh yeah, ZA's here, and like and what you put yourself into is that if you don't if you don't blow away the audience with something like big, they're not gonna they're gonna find ways to like nitpick what you release, if that makes sense. It's like Legends ZA like was radio silent for a year, and then when they had the whole trailer in like Lumio City with the starters in 2025, a lot of people were like, you made me wait a whole year for this. That's kind of what you put yourselves into. Like, I don't know if Pokemon cares about that, but like like I don't want Winds and Waves to go through that, because this is a big title. It's the 10th generation. Like Scarlet and Violet came out in 2022. This is our longest like gap between generations. Like before it'd be like 3 years, now looks like this is gonna be like 4 or 5, 5-year, like a 5-year gap. And so this game is like highly anticipated, and it's it's a milestone generation, the 10th generation, and it's just like, why like not like promote it? Like why not like have like trailers, have like teasers to like kind of get us excited for it? Like why not like showcase, or do something to kind of get us excited for this game? Like why go radio silent for the whole year and then like say nothing? It's just, to me, it's just really strange. Like I don't understand that. And it's like the release date 2027. Just to give you guys a perspective, like Legends Arceus, when it was announced in 2021 Pokemon Day, like the release date was early 2022. So they specified early 2022 for Legends Arceus. But for Legends ZA, that was announced, they just said 2025. They didn't say early, they didn't say late, they just said 2025. And then Legends ZA came out back in October. So I think just based on that perspective, like I expect this to be a late 2027 release. I'm gonna be honest, guys. I hope it's not. I hope it's like earlier, like June, like April, June, I hope, but like I'm expecting this to be a late release, because they didn't say they didn't say when. So if this is a late release, that's 2027. That's essentially 5 years from Scarlet and Violet. That's a big gap for Pokemon, which I again, I'm in a place where I'm not gonna say I love that, because I'm a Pokemon fan. I want to play Pokemon games like like as soon as possible, but I know that's not logical. That's not practical. But for me, the biggest thing is just like, if you're not gonna have anything for this whole year, and then for Pokemon Day 2027, if you're gonna like announce something, I don't know. It's just like for me, it's like it's just hard to maintain interest and attention doing it this way instead of like just having kind of like having more of a spread of like okay, here's a trailer, here's a trailer in June, here's a trailer in October. 5 year gap, that is a long gap, but I do think where we're at today with like games and especially Pokemon, like Pokemon doesn't have competition because it's Pokemon. Pokemon is always going to be the biggest like franchise, because Pokemon is more than just the gaming thing. It's a whole, it's like there's the trading cards, there's the plushies, there's the marketing. Like Pokemon is like more than just the games. So like Pokemon is in a very like interesting position where they're not like game heavy. So like Pokemon doesn't need to worry about its competition, but like in terms of like Nintendo games, I do wish like Game Freak kind of saw like other Nintendo titles and other like Nintendo games as competition, but competition in a good way. Like in the sense of like I wish Game Freak kind of looked at like what like what Zelda's doing, what Mario's doing, and kind of like took ideas and took inspiration and implemented into their games because because I think that would really be the product of a great Pokemon game. And lately, like me personally, like I loved Legends ZA. Like I played Legends ZA. I put 100 hours into it. I loved it. But at the same time, like there was something that was kind of missing in ZA that I was kind of just like, I wish like this is a great game, but like it could be more. I always find myself doing that with Pokemon games. Like I played Scarlet and Violet. Like Scarlet and Violet, even though there was issues, like I enjoyed the games. It was a fun Pokemon experience. But like a lot of times, like as I'm playing the games, I'm just like, okay, like this is Pokemon could have done this. They could have done this. It's like this is fun, but like it can be more. And like I think that's just like, and with a lot of us, I'm pretty sure a lot of us do this, but I think that's just like that's just like with like the fan speaking, like what the fan wants, and the reality is like Pokemon's in a position where they're the biggest like franchise in the world. Like they're already making like tons and tons of money. They don't necessarily need to do what the fan wants because regardless of what they do, they're gonna get the results. And I think a lot of like what I'm saying is coming from a place of the fan. Like this is like what the fans want. The fans want a Legends Mewtwo. The fan wants a Legends Johto. The fans want a Legends a Legends Sinnoh. We had Legends Arceus, but what I'm saying, like the fans want like a Legends game that's like very like lore driven and big and this and that, crazy story, this and that. Like I think like a lot of us, like we as fans want all that, but like Pokemon in their positions, they're just looking at it as like whatever we like whatever we do, we're gonna get the best results. So we're not and because of that, I think like effort and intention is not as much there as it could be. I'm not saying like Pokemon doesn't put intentions to their games, but like I just think it could be at a different level that would really take the Pokemon like gaming experience to a whole nother level if like there was more like ideas and innovation implemented into these games. And I hope with Winds and Waves we do get that. Again, the trailer looked really dope. I like the graphics. The graphics look very nice. They're kind of like new Pokemon Snap. I heard a lot of people say that they're really reminiscent of new Pokemon Snap. The waves here in the graphic, you guys can see they look really nice, like very just immersive. So I hope these games, there is like a level of what I'm saying. I hope there's like a level of like what I'm saying implemented into these games. So so yeah, like yeah, winds and waves, like 2027. I think it's gonna be late, but hopefully it comes out sooner. Who knows? But we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. Like, hopefully, they shadow drop like a trailer. That'd be dope. So I'm not complaining about there not being a new game this year, but like my whole complaint is that I just hope they don't go radio silent with winds and waves, and we have another Legends ZA situation where it's like, we announced the game for a whole year, there's nothing, and then next Pokemon Day, hey, winds and waves. It's like, it's just to me, it's just like, I don't know. To me, I just don't like that direction of marketing. Like rather than just drop everything in one day, like kind of spread it out and like have spread it out like throughout the months and kind of have us like gradually like excited, instead of just going radio silent and then like, hey, winds and waves, and hey, this and that. And that's my whole thing. Maybe later in the year, depending on like what happens, I might do another video as like a part 2 to this, to kind of just give more of a reflection. But for now, these are my thoughts. These are like how I feel. I'm excited for the future of Pokemon, but at the same time, I'm a little like, like, can this be better? So anyways, Harun the Buffoon, I'm signing out. Y'all have a great day, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.